Do what you break. Can you say something on back before we get to it? Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you always watch the video.
So obviously you know why we're here. And that body is of Richard or Rick Young.
He's been in that storage unit ever since.
I did it all by myself.
I don't believe that.
Basically, was a bit of a bully, and I'd let him bully me. He had fallen in the bathroom, and I realized, oh my God, he broke his neck. It happened like that.
Were you giving him more medications than maybe he needed, trying to keep him just...
I'm lost. What? Man.
out of your hair?
Monday, November 1st, 2021, Mequon, Illinois. In a village of barely 200 residents, the death of a former police chief went unnoticed. No one imagined what had really happened until almost a year later, when a strange odor coming from a storage unit revealed a secret hidden just a few steps from his home. What investigators found inside completely changed the perception of a case that had seemed invisible until then. I'm Tyler, and this is your daily dose of crime.
Shout out to Tyler. No, I thought she was like bedridden, but obviously she's not. She must have just went to that during that video. But I thought she was bedridden or something. That's why I'm like, huh? You did what to him? How?
I was told that you have some sort of substance on your hands. Can you hold your hands out for me, please?
Yeah. I think some of it is my blood because I did neck myself a little bit.
Okay.
And I don't know what that is.
I'm going to just use a buccal swab here and
Okay.
swab it off of you, okay?
Yeah.
Do you have any problems with that?
No.
Oh, yeah. Can you hold your hand out for me, please?
It's pretty dry. Oh, yeah. I'm guessing that's my blood because now I can feel the cut. I was using a big knife to open the box, and I cut myself. So, I worked in a lab. I know what you got to do.
And then you had some on the back side of your hand there?
Yeah.
And do you have any on?
That'd be great if she was in the hospital because the stuff whatever she was giving him got into her pores or her bloodstream when she got cut.
I don't think there might be. That's an old wound. I'm not sure if that's just dirt, I think. It's probably dry enough, it's hard to get. Yeah, I think that's all of them.
And we'll let you go ahead and...
You guys still out there?
So obviously you know why we're here.
Yes, I did.
So I'm gonna let you tell me what happened.
Rick got COVID. He was very sick for quite a while. He can be a very difficult person to try to deal with. I mean, nice person, but just stubborn. Just stubborn when it came to health or anything else.
When officers begin the interrogation, the routine of the room isn't what matters, but the weight of what they already know. Sitting in front of them is the only person who shared the final days of the former police chief, now struggling to hold together a story full of contradictions. The questions sound simple, but each answer could bring them closer to what they really need to uncover, whether this was an accidental death or something far more calculated.
So, we've been together for 24 years. Basically was a bit of a bully, and I'd let him bully me because I'm a doormat.
How so?
I paid all the bills. I mean, the man wouldn't go buy himself shoes or jeans or anything else. I took care of everything while he hoarded money. And, like if we were low on groceries or something, or, I couldn't afford to pay a bill.
I was about to say, like, if he a retired police chief, how, like, shouldn't his money been paying for everything? But she said he was hoarding the money while she was paying for everything.
So, I mean, I was working 10, 12 hours a day.
Where'd you work at?
I worked for Northwestern Medicine. But I mean, I'd get up at 4:30 in the morning, go take a shower, go get ready for work, go to work, and come home, and he would have sat there all day long after he retired, you know. He would have just sat there all day long and watched, did whatever. And if I said, hey, I need some help with the bills this time or whatever, he might eventually give it to me, but he would complain the whole time. If I didn't go...
First part of that, that's a good retirement, bro. I'm retired. I didn't work all these years. Police chief at that. Man, baby, you better come watch this corn with me. You better come watch it with me, bro. Well, that started off a good retirement. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. Like, imagine you work 30, 40, 50 years. You get to chill, relax, watch some corn all day. Yeah. But the bills gonna get paid for sure, though.
Along with things the way he wanted, he'd make my life miserable. But I loved him, so I put up with it. You know, I mean...
Did he live there in Mequon with you?
Yes. He moved to Kentucky for a while.
Okay. How long ago was that?
Before the year before that. He was there for maybe 2 months.
Okay.
Like November and December.
When did he come back to the area?
Last January.
January of this being 2022, so January of 2021.
Yes.
Would have been back in the area for close
January,
to 2 years.
February, yeah, somewhere in there. Because things just didn't work out down there, you know, living with his son, and we never really split up. He did the living shit out of my stepmom. So, you know, they were like oil and water, and she finally was like, it's my house and you need to go live somewhere else. So he did.
What's his son's name?
Also. And, you know, I mean, when he left, he was like, I just want to come home with you and the dog and start things over again. And him and Karen worked things out and got along better and everything. So everything was fine. But when he got COVID, I couldn't get him to go to the doctor. Then it got to the point where it was almost like...
The woman being questioned is Marcy L. Oglesby, 53 years old, who had lived with the victim Richard Young in the home of her godmother Karen Dubé, who had raised her as a daughter. She tells officers that Young was controlling and unhelpful, trying to frame their life together as one of conflict and mistreatment. For prosecutors, that narrative had another purpose: to divert attention from what was really happening inside the house. During that same time, Oglesby maintained an online relationship with a man in Nigeria that she called and began moving money out of Young's accounts without his knowledge. That combination of resentment and
Wait, hold on. However, the farm dealer fell through open prior to this prosecuted the evidence that she subsequently paid $60,000 from his account. But you paying everything though, huh? So why you couldn't give the Nigerian man your money? Why you gotta give him his money? That's crazy.
External motives was interpreted as the beginning of a plan that would soon take shape.
It was like he was deliberately making it harder for me to take care of him by getting up. You know, I'd get up and go to the bathroom, and I'd be like, if you're ready to get up, go to the chair, you know, do whatever you eat, you know, just give me a minute to go pee. And I would come back and he'd be up and he'd be on the floor. We were, you know, looking at a new house and went to go look at the house, and he's like, I don't feel like going, but send me video or whatever, you know. I went to look at the house. I get back, you know, my little old stepmom cannot pick him up off the floor, you know. I mean, she was a CNA for years, but she couldn't, you know, get him up off the floor. And I said, you know, if you want to get up before I leave to run to Avon to look at this house, let me get you up. You know, because I can't pick you up. I wasn't gone 20 minutes. He got up, fell, and when I called him, he was sitting on the floor. And he's like, no, I'm fine. I'll be here till you get back. Just constant, you know, constant things. So then, probably, I don't know, the fourth time he fell, broke his nose. I mean, he looked like he'd been through a prize fight. You know, when you've already had a problem in the past, it's not funny to sit there, like my nephew walked in and went, what happened to you? And he's like, her. You know, I mean, thank God I had a witness that he fell, you know, and broke his own nose.
If that's all the case, and he's making it hard for you to take care of him, I'm sending you to an old folks home. I don't mean unalive him, man.
But he would think this was funny to sit there and be like, her, you know, she finally had enough of my shit, you know, stuff like that. He had a bad tendency to dramatize things, you know, tell his kids things to make himself come out seeming more important.
She's chilling. She just crossed her legs and everything. She's chilling.
You know, when he got to the point where he couldn't really talk because he'd thrown up so much, you know, all of the gastric juices and, you know, everything had him so he could barely talk. Call and check on him here and there. But his kids never gave a damn about anything but getting money. On the other hand, he's one of these people, I don't want an inheritance from my parents. I don't want anything that makes it look like you're happy they're dead, you know. Once again, he'd started feeling a little bit better.
I felt the same way, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I felt the same way when my mom passed. The shorty money came. It's like, bro, I don't want that shit. It's like you're getting paid for them being unlocked. That's not a good feeling, bro.
Started getting some strength back. Get up to go to the bathroom. And he got to the bathroom and I came back in from taking the dog out to pee. And he had fallen in the bathroom and like went in, you know, helped him up. And he's like, I want to go out to the RV because he had a big RV at the time. He's like, I want to go out to the RV and just stretch out and not bug anybody with what I want to watch on TV and anything else. So, you know, I was like, okay, well, you know, we'll go. And he had a hold of my shoulders, didn't get out there, and sat down on the edge of the bed, and, you know, he's like, I feel funny. And I said, okay, well, let's get you laid down. And he just stopped. I mean, literally, like that. And I realized, oh my God, he broke his neck when he fell.
Young's physical decline became harder to ignore. Frequent falls, vomiting, and growing weakness appeared to be the natural signs of aging or lingering illness. Oglesby described them as inevitable, even claiming that Young sometimes blamed her directly. But later analysis would reveal something quite different. All of these symptoms were consistent with long-term poisoning by tetrahydrozoline, the active ingredient in over-the-counter eye drops, which she obtained with Dubé's help. The discovery of 19 empty boxes of eye drops and a pill crusher reinforced the idea that this was not random illness, but the silent evidence of a sustained poisoning campaign.
And I sat down and I freaked out, and I have a lot of...
Wherever he was standing at, like you, especially she said he got an RV, bro. You was better off staying and living in that, but, cause, bro, that'd be sad when like you gotta watch the person who you supposed to be, who's supposed to love you. Like that's crazy.
PTSD when it comes to people dying. And I sat there for a long time and I made a horrible decision. I don't really have a good explanation for other than I sat there crying and, you know, I went in the house and, you know, Mom's like, what's going on? I said, oh, he's really sick. I need to take him to the hospital. And I, of course, wasn't going to involve my stepmom. And like I said, they weren't real close, you know, they tolerated each other, basically. So she didn't think anything of it when I said, I just, you know, he's real sick and he needs to go to the hospital. And she didn't think too much of it. And after a couple days of me getting my head out of my butt and realizing, you know, I should have just called when it happened and done the normal thing that any normal human being would do. And then at that point I was like, okay, well, I didn't do the right thing. I got scared and it just kept compounding and compounding until I was like, okay, so what do I do? You know, that's a criminal act. But it wasn't like a religious thing or, you know, it was me just being depressed and devastated, and I knew his oldest child was never going to cooperate with that. I mean,
child's the oldest?
He's like his mother. He'll do anything for money, you know. And he wants the world to believe that he is the almighty warrior, you know, runs around with this big Marine Corps emblem on the back of his truck, but he broke his own knee so he didn't have to deploy. And I just made a really stupid decision, you know, but I mean, x-rays and everything will show that, you know, that I didn't hurt him. You know, I tried to take care of him, and I wouldn't hurt a fly, you know, I would never kill someone. I just didn't quite know. It was like I wasn't in my right mind.
I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. Obviously, I told you that you said you know why we're here because of the body.
Yes.
And that body is of Rick Young,
Yes.
former Mequon police chief.
Chief of police, yeah.
Were you guys married?
No, we were not. We both had our fingers, so we had power of attorney and all of that stuff.
From the night that he fell in the bathroom, he then walked
He had fingers? What the fuck? What's she talking about?
him from the bathroom to the bedroom,
No, out to the RV.
walked him out to the RV. That's where was he on the bed, on the couch?
He was on the bed, the bed in the back of the RV. And he said, I don't feel very good. And I basically put my arms around him and, you know, went to pull him up to me. Literally, when I pulled him up to me, his neck did something unnatural. And I screamed, and, you know, I took his face, and, you know, I was like, honey, honey, honey. And he was just gone. It happened.
And then the neck was snapped from that moment.
Like that, I've never seen anything
What?
in all my years of medicine.
Like, or he from the mini fall that he had, he broke his neck. He asked you to take him to the RV. You helped him. You got him there. You set him on the bed. He said, "I don't feel good," and then he passed out or passed away from his neck being broke days before.
Never seen anything like that.
When Young finally died, Oglesby never called for medical attention or reported it to authorities. She claimed she had suffered a panic attack, but her actions told another story. She moved the body from room to room, obtained a large cardboard box, and prepared it for transport. Her composure became a critical point for prosecutors. Instead of despair, she showed control and precision, traits that pointed to execution rather than reaction. At that stage, the case was no longer about determining the cause of death, but about measuring how far premeditation had gone.
How long did you keep him in the camp, or was he in the RV that night?
Just like 24 hours till I figured out how to move it.
And he's been in that storage unit ever since. Who helped you get him over there?
I did it by myself. Wasn't easy. It was like early in the morning, and I kind of wiggled the box. I did it all by myself.
I don't believe that.
Got it down, you know, got the box down the steps. You know, if you're
Who do you think helped the mom?
just kind of scooching the
That
boat
long?
up, you know, something heavy, you know, in a box a little bit at a time.
You didn't use anything to wheel him over there?
We had a dolly, but the box wasn't, it wasn't strong enough. If it hadn't been something I was doing depressed and stupid all by myself, then I would have, you know, if I had an accomplice or something, I would have come up with a better plan. But I was panicky and not right in the head.
So in over a year, you said you would call and check in on him?
Text a little bit, but not much.
For a year, reached out to anybody saying that hadn't heard from the dad? I don't know where he's at.
Well, you know, I told him he's in Iowa City, and he was cool with that. They're not close. I mean, Rick didn't believe it was even his kid.
How many people knew that Rick was over there?
In the storage shed? Me. That was it.
Did your mom know?
I think she suspected there was something wrong.
If we talk to your mom, what do you think she's going to tell us?
That she thought something thought that I was, hiding something, but she just thought he was in Iowa.
Do you think she would know any details of how he died?
No. I mean, she knew he was falling all the time. I mean, he was doing that in front of her. She'd even sit there and tell him, why don't you just stay in the chair, stay in bed, or use the walker. I mean, I had a walker. I didn't have any intention of hurting anybody, and definitely not, my elderly stepmom or, my family. I didn't have any intention of hurting. His family has not gotten to grief, because of the choice that I made, but I never meant to hurt anybody. That's why I did this on my own. This was my choice and mine alone.
Are you still doing the art dealer thing?
Trying to.
How's that going?
Not very well.
Is that out of Nigeria?
Well, the business itself is out of here, but I have 23 different artists from the African and Caribbean diaspora that...
Was there one from Nigeria?
Yeah.
Are you particularly close with him?
Yeah, he's my best friend.
Is there any kind of a romantic relationship there?
There has been.
So did Rick know about a romantic relationship there?
There has been.
So did Rick know about that?
Yeah.
Did he have a problem with you being still friends with him and working with him?
No. I mean, he would make comments here and there, That's what caused the whole problem when I got arrested for that. That's when Rick started going through paperwork and going through and realizing that I wasn't spending all my money on taking care of us. And that's when he realized that there was something starting romantically between and I. He was like, well, I want to work this out. I want to talk this out. I figured he was gonna,
I ain't no finesse ass nigga, but I wish I had somebody give me $60,000. Shit.
put me in jail and was gonna do whatever, and he very much wanted everything his own way.
That same composure appears again when she answers questions about her art business abroad. Oglesby explains that most of the artists she worked with were African or Caribbean, but investigators already knew that some of those funds were linked to her relationship with, while she insisted Young was abusive and that she acted alone. The evidence told a different story. Dozens of empty eye drop containers, a pill crusher purchased at Walgreens, and Dubé's testimony that she had seen Oglesby put drops into Young's coffee. The gap between her version and the material evidence revealed a woman capable of sustaining a meticulous plan for months, disguised as an ordinary routine.
So you are 100% sure that your mother doesn't know any of the details of how he died or where he's been for the last year?
Right.
So if I told you that we've already been talking to her and that I have another investigator who's interviewing her at the same time, and she's given details that match pretty closely to what you're telling me, how would you explain that?
She's a little old lady, and I didn't want anything bad to happen to my mom.
I understand that, but
I would rather take it on myself because, like, she didn't physically go help me, you know, in
How
the
did
end.
you really get him across the street?
I really, exactly the way that I really did.
You didn't use a card.
No. I started to, but the box was not strong enough.
I'm trying to protect her, okay, but in this situation, the best way to help
So what was the stepmom or godmom doing? Was she helping you with put the eye drops? Did she help you move the box? What?
yourself is to be completely honest. Before we finish, I have to ask, what situation like that? You said that he was abusive, at least emotionally, and you've got Sunday that you're talking to, and I totally understand that situation. Were you giving him more medications than maybe he needed, trying to keep him just out of your hair? You weren't giving him any other that was keeping him down, keeping him, from being emotionally abusive to you?
Oh, no.
The case went to trial nearly 4 years later, and in June of 2025, Marcy L. Oglesby would be convicted of first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, and aggravated battery by administering a dangerous substance. In September, she was sentenced to what would likely be the rest of her life in prison. The prosecution presented overwhelming evidence, with the empty eye drop boxes, pill bottles, a pill crusher, and the testimony of her own godmother who admitted helping to conceal the body. Karen Dubé, age 79, accepted a plea deal for concealment of a homicidal death, receiving 2 years of conditional discharge in exchange for testifying against her goddaughter. The autopsy would confirm what had long been suspected. Richard Young had died from tetrahydrozoline intoxication, a substance so common in eye drops yet deadly when ingested repeatedly. For the small community of Mequon, the revelation would be devastating. They had lost a man who had dedicated more than 3 decades to public service in the most unexpected way, at the hands of a person he trusted the most.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. And like, you know, you want to grow old with somebody, but bro, sometimes you might be better off growing old on your own. 'Cause that's fucking crazy. Shout out to Tyler.